What is up, and welcome in to the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. I'm your host, Ezra McCann, and I'm joined, as always, by outstanding co-hosts. He's a Chicago Public League legend. He's a Simeon legend. He's a Grambling State legend. He played second base for the Tigers back in the day. He was all swag. He is none other than Brandon Williams, a.k.a. Coach Smoke. And we've got the NFL draft analyst, expert, enthusiast. He is our guy, Glenn Morgan, our GM. And gentlemen, hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving out there. How about you guys? How was your holiday?
It was cool. I mean,
You didn't let things bother you or fester?
Nope. Nope. Exactly how the game started out, like it was about to get ugly. Then they fought back, and then it ended in chaos. Just like we should have been hoping in Chicago.
I told myself before the game started, I said, look, self, we're not gonna let this bother a joyous holiday like this. We got great food coming up on the table. If they lose, they lose. I didn't expect that chaos at the end, though. But you know what? I'm sort of glad it happened.
Hey, I can say one thing, though.
Needed to happen.
I can say one thing that we learned.
What's that?
That it can get bad if you try to get the extra yards.
Can't argue that. Glenn?
We saw it multiple occasions Thursday. We saw it multiple occasions Thursday. We saw us couldn't even get a goddamn playoff. Then we see the Raiders just throw the game away. We just kick. That's why you just kick.
Man, I just want to say this, dude. I enjoy being around my family. Went to my cousin, my wife's side of the family, my in-laws, and had a great time. Enjoyed the food, enjoyed the company, enjoyed watching the games. No stress. The only shocking part was I read a tweet from Courtney Cronin about what Eberflus said. That was the only shock that I had, and I had a what the fuck moment. He said, "What? Oh, he should not be allowed anything near anything that has a Bears logo on it, from the plane ride home to luggage, anything like." That was an immediate fireable. That was like a Lane Kiffin moment. Don't get on the plane. I wasn't shocked, dude. I mean, look, I was shocked. I'll put it this way: I was shocked that they came back the way they did. I was shocked that the Lions start looking like the Lions. It's like it's weird, bro. It's like division games. We're going to talk about rivalries in college later, but division games, it's a little different. Sometimes it's matchup. It's just weird, dude. And the way the Bears came back was it. I don't want to say inspiring, but it led me to believe like, okay, this team is not nearly as bad as they've been playing, and this team just has to learn how to play better sooner. And going forward, it's like, okay, they might be onto something. And then and then Eberflus happened. It's like
we get flused.
We get flused. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, how? It clearly that motto, do the same thing and expecting a different result is insanity. That was an insane moment. Because, like, didn't you just do this against Green Bay? How you let 30 seconds tick off? And that look he had, he just holding the paper on the sideline. He's like,
because he knew.
He was.
He
dude,
knew.
like, call a timeout. Like, he's like a deer in headlights.
He knew.
He just froze.
Damn, I fucked up.
Yeah.
He knew, and he didn't. You know what? I rewatched it. He didn't. He was telling them to get the playoff, which it was the wrong answer. That's what happened.
You should have been saying time, because you could see him over there. You could see him over there doing this.
Right,
but dude, he should have been.
He should have been calling. He should have known.
Once you see he's
he should have known that. All right, Caleb got sacked with 31 seconds to go.
Yeah.
All right, he pops up.
Immediately timeout.
Does he mean? Well, no, I'm not gonna say that. I'll give him that. I'll give him the 30 seconds. I'll give him, okay, you let a couple seconds run down, all right, if you wanted the play to get off. But at about 24 seconds, you saw that they were in chaos. Caleb is trying to get the play in. Guys are trying to get lined up, and they're looking at Caleb, and they don't know where to be, and it's just total chaos
then
at that point.
Changed the play,
Right.
like dog.
And at that point, time is ticking. What did Chris Berman say? Tick, 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 tick. Time is ticking. At about 15 seconds, Flus definitely should have called timeout. Maybe 20 seconds, I'd say he should have definitely called timeout.
But at 15, like you
at
said,
15,
you still got time to run another
play. You have to take a timeout, okay? You get to 12. Timeout. Because things are still in flux, all right? He lets it run down, and he's on the sideline telling them to snap the ball. No, they don't know what they're doing. And of course, the snap doesn't get off until what, 7?
Was it 7? Felt like 4 seconds, but yeah.
7 seconds.
So I think it was 7. 7. And Caleb had nothing to do, but he knew. And he threw it downfield to Dunze. There was nothing there. The Bears fan in me thought, there could have been pass interference there, but you're not going to get that call. And yeah, the clock says 0. And it's like, that's on your head coach.
Clearly
the biggest part of your job on game day is clock management.
Yes.
That's your job.
Well, managing you say clock management, but and that's specific, and I get it. But game management, oversee the whole god blessed game. Like you should be dialed into the game to where you should be thinking 3 steps ahead. Like
right.
You should have, like, as soon as he got sacked, your brain should have been like, timeout. We need to set a play, and we need to have not just a play set, but we need to have the next thing set up. Because if we don't get what we need, the field goal team has to come out, or if we need to do another play, we need to have another play set. You know what I'm saying? Like say he gets sacked again, you can't be trying to figure it out. You already need to have the other play call. I mean, like, how many times have we seen in our lifetimes where you have 2 or 3 plays ready when you're in that kind of situation?
Well, in a 2 minute,
so you don't have to worry about.
In a 2 minute, you're always supposed to have that.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, if you see these guys scrambling, like you said, 10 seconds should have been more than enough time. From 31 to 20, 21 seconds, you should have known within that 10-second span, I need to call a timeout because we need to figure this out. Like, let's just regroup.
Right. That's what you needed.
You just need to regroup.
Even if you don't have any more timeouts, okay. Here's the plan.
Right. I mean, I'm shocked that none of the other coaches called a timeout. I'm shocked that, the guy with the towels or the water guy didn't call a timeout. I mean, at some point, I saw the Lions, and they were like, dude, timeout, call a timeout. I mean, even they felt like, well, damn, shit, should we call a timeout for him? I mean,
right.
that was that. I'll say this: I can't recall ever hearing as many pundits immediately, and former coaches who are pundits or voices on talent on TV call for another coach's job as vociferously as I heard some of them.
Most people don't. They try not to.
Yes,
they try not to say that.
They be like,
no voice on TV.
Jimmy Johnson said in 70 years of being around the game, he had never seen anything like that.
That's immediately you just lost your job. Yeah. That's national, and it's Jimmy Johnson saying it, and it's 70 years. I mean, that's like 2/3 of the NFL history right there, more than 2/3.
I mean, as soon as it said 0, I said, man, he's gone. He can't come back tomorrow. He can't
survive that.
You can't.
But yet he did.
Somehow. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I had a sleepless night going into Friday. I don't know why. It wasn't just a bit. I mean, it may have been I don't know, I overate, I don't know. I just couldn't, I needed to, digest, I had a little bit too much sweet potato pie, I don't know. But I didn't sleep well going into Friday. And I was ready. I was waiting for that alert to come that say Matt Eberflus has been relieved of his duties. I was just waiting for that. And I was in Atlanta, so at 8 Eastern, I was up for whatever reason. I don't know why. I never wake up that early. And I turned on the ESPN 1000 app to hear Cap and J Hood, and I'm waiting for it. And they say Matt Eberflus will have a 9 a.m. press conference. What? Really? So we're gonna stick with this. That made no sense to me. And I'm listening all the way through, and Cap is calling for Eberflus's head, and
I mean, real quick, how does that work when you have Eberflus come on your show to talk? I
and
mean,
he man, I gotta give it to Cap. He hasn't been pussyfooting around the entire season, really.
no,
He's been giving it to him.
yes,
I gotta give Cap credit for that, man. That's gotta be hard to do when
I mean,
you have to talk to this guy,
yes,
every Monday morning.
yes.
I don't, man. That's gotta be hard to do. But Cap is, and he's been correct. It's not personal. It's just that these are the facts.
Sure feels personal after a while.
I don't think it's personal. I don't think he thinks that
No,
he's a bad guy. It's just
not,
that he's not a very
oh,
good head football coach.
personal doesn't mean I think you're evil, good or bad. Personal could be like you are offending me with your with the things you do. Your presence is offensive.
Right.
I'm personally offended by what you
I
do.
mean, that's tough though to be a guest on a radio show every week, and
Yes,
for that person to tell me how much
Well,
I suck at my job, but I can't tell you how much I think you suck at yours though.
right.
That's where it
That's
gets
the
funny.
leverage
But
is
again, respect to Cap for his job, doing his job. I mean, hey, he ain't
politicking.
sugarcoating around
Right.
the facts
Yeah, he's not politicking.
because he's a guest on the show. No, he's
yeah,
keeping
Right.
yeah.
and that's one thing as a person that loves sports talk television, sports talk radio. That's one thing I always disliked about people on TV.
Hmm.
They tone change when the person come
Right,
around.
right.
Being
No,
disingenuous.
keep the same energy. And and y'all know how I feel about Cap. I'm not the biggest fan, but gotta give respect where respect is due there. He kept the same energy. And hey, Eberflus come with the territory. What you just say is be a better coach.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, do better.
I mean, and so yeah, props to Cap on that. But 9 a.m. comes, 9 a.m. Central Time comes, and Eberflus steps to the it was a Zoom call. So and ESPN aired it live. And this dude Flus doubles down because he said in the initial press conference, that they did the right thing. You can't
Mhm.
believe that, sir. You can't.
Like,
But then at the
how?
press conference, he doubled down on it and
Double
said,
down.
"Yeah, that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to save that time out. So we wanted to get some yardage so we could kick the field goal. We could stop the clock at that point. Obviously, we didn't want, we wanted to get a better playoff than that, but it is what it is." Then they ask him, "Have you talked to management about your job status?" And he said, "Yeah, talk to the guys
Man,
earlier, and uh,
and
things
We're
are
good.
same as usual. We're getting ready for San Francisco."
no
And so
reason to believe I shouldn't be getting ready for San Francisco.
I'm like,
Man, I
wow.
saw that. I say, whoa, the arrogance of
I
this
was
guy.
like, this is crazy. I said, man, well, I guess, I guess people are right. And I think I text you guys. I said, well, I
Yep.
guess this is the reason that people talk about, the McCaskey ownership the way
Right.
they do. Because I was trying to get that answer a couple weeks ago. Like, what aren't they doing? Um, that's making this, a dysfunctional organization. Everything from the outside looks fine. They got football people in place. They pretty much stay out of the way. They got a good facility. They
Good
pay the
head players.
players. What aren't they doing? And I told you guys right after that press conference, I text you guys and I said, this is it right here.
Right. Well,
And
two
go ahead,
things
go
with
ahead, go
the,
ahead.
no, I apologize. Two things with that. I just didn't want to forget about it as you're saying it. With the McCaskies, and I can't remember where I read it, but it was that Poles actually wanted to fire
Yeah,
Flus
after
after the
the
New
Patriots
England
game.
game, right?
Mhm.
But the McCaskies, to your point, were like, no. And so if you know that the person that was sacrificed after that was Waldron.
Right.
And so I don't, and I think one time I said, well, maybe the McCaskies do that in terms of not firing somebody because of all that it entails in terms of your family and everything else. But then you brought up a point. Well, what about the other coaches, like the coordinators that get let go?
Yeah,
I'm like, well, yeah, they got families too.
I mean,
So
damn.
I don't understand why the head coach has in the past has had that latitude. So to your point, yes, I think the McCaskies, if there's a fault, it's right here in terms of specifically, when a person should be let go, they're not, and what that invariably ends up doing is delaying a process to maybe find better coaching talent. It may send a signal to available coaching talent or potentially available coaching talent or future coaching talent. You know what? I don't know. This seems dysfunctional or something doesn't quite seem right. And if nothing else, what's happened this year has shown a massive amount of dysfunction within the Bears organization. This is an organizational issue and it's very problematic. I mean, it's always been hints and people have talked about it, but it's been on full display.
Mhm.
So all that to say that, yeah, I think this is what you're talking about. This is where the McCaskey's at fault. To Poles' credit, he wanted to cut bait some time ago, and if you had, I mean, you might have, you might be 2-1 in the conference or in the division right now, possibly 3-0. But I'll say the Green Bay game, the Detroit game, you had chances to close that out. You know, I'm talking about after Waldron was let go. And maybe the Minnesota game went in overtime. That can go either or. But you could at least arguably have been 2-1 in the division and two less losses. And now you're looking at what 6-5, maybe something like that. And
Yeah.
what a shot! 2-1 in the division with the arrow pointing up, catching a Frisco team that's flailing, catching a Seattle team that doesn't look as good as it did the first third of the season, first fourth quarter of the season. You got an opportunity if you're the Bears to maybe go 11-6, 10-7 with a really good shot to make the playoffs. So yeah, man, I'm sorry I cut in, but that's to
Oh, no
your
worries, no
point.
worries. Yeah.
I think that's where the McCaskey issue, and this is where you're really seeing is like you're doing everything you stay out of the way until you don't stay out of the way. And when you don't stay out of the way is when you should be staying the F out of the way. you know.
So then we get that. And then what, 2 hours later, 2.5 hours later, we get word that Matt Eberflus has been fired. So I'm like, well, why did you let him talk to the media earlier this morning and make him look like a fool? I, I,
It's weird.
that's an issue.
Weird.
Dude, it's comical. And it reminds me of that you see the meme sometimes or the blurb comes out when it's that old Vince Lombardi. He's out on the sideline. What the hell is going on out here? That's exactly what I felt like. What the hell is going on out there? Like, what is going on in hell? Like this is it again on full display. Massive dysfunction, dude. Massive dysfunction.
I,
But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
if I'm if I'm the general manager or the president, I tell media relations, hey, let's hold off
Yes,
on the early morning presser. We can
not
push it back.
not that difficult.
That's it.
You're
I would have
making
done
it.
that. I would have done that Thursday.
Yeah, you know you're making a change. It's not like some big ass secret. It's not like the rest
Well,
of the
maybe
world's
you know what? Maybe you don't know, but still,
okay.
don't just push the media availability
Yeah,
back.
give
If you
yourself
need
some
some extra
time.
time to figure this out, push it
Right.
back. Don't let him go out there and talk as if everything is hunky dory. There's nothing wrong here.
No, they did that shit on purpose. That was to punish him. That was for that loss. We gonna get you back. That's a passive aggressive move that the Bears organization did.
That's quite possible, man. Because that's wild, man. That shouldn't happen.
A lot of things shouldn't happen. But you know what? I'm gonna stand 10 toes on this one. Because I can't recall. I don't believe there's ever been this situation in the history of the NFL. Uh, I don't even know if in major North American, i.e., United States sports with the four major teams, maybe basketball, possibly. But because of what happened, your president's African American, your general manager is African American, your interim head coach slash offensive coordinator is African American, your defensive coordinator now. Well, he had always been a defensive
He already
coordinator
been,
anyway,
yeah.
but now he's going to be making the
He's the
decisions
official.
through and
He's
throughout.
the, he's the play
Throughout
caller
through,
now.
right? He's a play caller, and your quarterback is African American. So all the decision makers at this point, I don't know if I've ever seen
I'm
that in
pretty
my
sure that's
lifetime.
never. I'm pretty sure this is the first time ever.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and that may or may not mean anything to people who are listening, but the fact that I'm saying that means that it's something that we haven't seen before, and I know it sounds funny if I'm saying I really want the Bears to win now more, but I do because it's like somehow still somehow this country's been. I'm not trying to get on a complete political bent here. Sometimes it's still that feel that need that God damn it, I gotta prove it, like prove it, unequivocally without a doubt. And maybe that's wrong for me to feel that way. I don't know, but I feel like you know what? If how many games are left? 5 games are left.
5.
4-1. I think it says something, and it's possible. It's possible, but and it sucks that it has to. That this is how you have to get to that spot. Everyone everyone else has got to be let go, and you got to fall into a bad situation to some degree. But however the opportunities come, the opportunities are present, and then knocking, and I really hope that door, and whether or not these coaches and what have you remain in place going forward, which I don't see that happening. It at least gives them an opportunity to showcase their wares, and again, having that opportunity to do so. But yeah, man, I'm staying 10 toes on this one. I don't think there's ever been a situation in the NFL at all.
Yeah, I didn't even. oh, Yeah, I didn't even. I didn't even think about that. Like that ain't even crossed my mind. I openly say I've been one because a lot of people are like, yeah, now we get to see what the brother can do, and give him a chance. And they've been doing good. They might need to keep him. And I've been one. I've been openly saying no. Get rid of everybody. Oh, complete overhaul.
That's probably going to happen.
I'm just. I mean,
I want to think back. Has there been a situation where a coach gets let go?
for the Bears or
And
period.
just period, where
Well,
a coach
the Raiders.
stayed,
The
basically got
Raiders.
elevated to head coach, and they became a winner.
The Raiders. Well, they didn't become a winner, but
Well, no, they tried. No,
had.
they kept Antonio Pierce, but I'm talking about
Yeah,
became aware, worked out.
yeah,
Where
yeah. No,
It has. I just can't think of it off the top of my
like I'm
head.
thinking,
I want to say
I
in the
think
80s,
I
90s.
think maybe Parcells with the Giants,
Yes, I think he took over from Ray Perkins.
right? Because Ray Perkins took the Alabama job, right?
Yes, he left to go to Alabama. Or they may have let Ray Perkins go.
But they ended up being that's the only one I can think of.
Um, yeah, I'd have to. I don't want to waste our time, but maybe I can bring that, answer that a little bit later on. But
But
I want to see this another time. But
but
yeah, I
spoke
think
to what you just said. I at first, and I'm still a little bit. I don't know if that's the right move, even for the
to keep
interim
him.
spot. No, for
Oh, to
Thomas
give him the interim.
Brown to be the interim.
So and I've heard a lot. I've heard a lot when it came to that too, because it's like now, like we talked about it last week, the benefit of him being in the booth.
Upstairs, right?
Now he's on the field. Now he has to manage so many other things.
He's managing all this stuff.
Does this affect Caleb now in the other way?
Right.
I mean, I said it last week, and I continue to say it, and I've been on social media a lot about it. There's something not quite there with Caleb yet to start games, or just throughout the game until he's down and it looked like he's out. And like I said last time, I like that about him, but at the same time, is that a pressure thing? Like at that point, the pressure is off. Now I have nothing to lose, so I play freer. Like what is that? Like how is it that when you're down 14, you're down 10, like and it's like it's free fall. Then soon as the game get in reach, you make a bonehead play.
Yeah.
I think it's not pressure. I think you're onto something. I don't think it's so much pressure. I think he's not thinking as much.
And that's
just playing.
Yeah, but then when it get let's go overtime.
Because then he's got to think.
Minnesota.
Because now you're thinking. You're being careful.
Take a sack. This situation, Detroit. Now, granted, I don't necessarily know if that sack was on him, but they also said it was a draw play. And you actually could see that it was a draw play, and he stood back there a second too long so they could get to him because he should have been going upfield already. But so it's like, what is it that? But when he down, I mean, it's like, whoa, this dude don't quit. It's like you give a don't quit, but then when he get it there, something.
Because he has to think again. I think you're right. It's not obviously not the pressure, because the pressure is on you when you're behind and they're coming at you and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think it's the pressure. I think it's that I'm not thinking anymore. You know, it's like let's go. And then you get in a rhythm and you're not caught trying to be careful. I think starting out the game, you don't want to make mistakes. So he's being too careful.
And it makes me think about him in college and the fact that he didn't win big games in college. And I'm just starting to think he don't know how to win. No, and I'm not using that as a slight against him. Because that's where coaching comes into play. I mean, a few of them games, if coached correctly, you teach him how to win. You teach him how to win. Like I'm thinking he don't know how to win yet. And he's had situations a la Washington game, even though I don't really like to talk about the Washington game much, but at the same extent, he should have won that game. And then a person that, to me, that don't know how to win games, win a game and still lose it on some crazy shit, that even mess with your mind even more. Like, so it's like what do we got to do to, like, how can we implant in his mind that he down 14 to start a game? Like, what can we do? Because I think that's what's holding him back right now. Like, he plays amazing when we're down. And I don't know if, and some people say that's the opponent, they let off, they kind of let up a little bit, you know, and that could be the case too. But that's why we need to start off stronger. Like it's just a little thing. Like I said, I like it about him that he could do that, but I want to see it early, and then I want to see it finished also.
Yes.
You know, and like I said, that does play a factor in the coaching also, though, because a couple of them times it could have been finished, and coaching stood in the way. So
yes, I think you're right. I don't know if it's any one thing, but he does need to learn to close out. And if there's anything where he's not Mahomes like, as he was so much being touted for before he got here, he's not a closer at this point. He's a get you there kind of, but he hasn't closed it out yet. I can't remember how he was at Oklahoma. Outside of the Red River rivalry, and he came in and kind of took that game over. Outside of that,
let's go back to that though. Let's start there. our first introduction to Caleb, they were getting their ass whooped, and he came in and
Yeah,
off to the races.
off to the races.
No pressure, nothing to lose. Hey, this dude got benched. I'm free and easy. So it's every key, like every big moment, it comes back to that, like that. Like
Maybe he's more comfortable when he, like you said, it's not much to lose because you're already losing.
yeah.
And I don't know if it's a pressure thing as much as it's I don't give an F kind of thing. Like yeah, I got nothing to lose here, so let's go. And then you get momentum, and you get on a roll. But
But
then
why don't
once
you
you
not
finish
give a F in the beginning?
that I can't answer. I think
Well,
it could be like I said before. Maybe yeah, it could be some of it's a play calling. When you're behind as much, you're not running the ball as much, so the ball's in your hands more.
well,
And then
he won some games his Heisman Trophy season, right?
you win any big games. Notre
Didn't they
Dame
didn't
wasn't.
they didn't they win the Pac-12 though?
No, they lost to Utah. They lost the Pac-12 championship game. They lost to Utah 3 times, twice that year. I think they lost a regular season game and they lost a Pac-12 game, and then he lost the following year. I don't think he ever beat Utah when he was at USC.
They lost. Wow. Okay.
Yep,
That was
lost
one of
to
the big criticisms about him, that he didn't
right.
win
And,
versus ranked opponents.
and when he beat Notre Dame, his Heisman Trophy year, Notre Dame wasn't as good as they were the following year, which we know what happened with that game. I think he threw three picks that game. Um, Even the UCLA game, which UCLA hasn't been good for a while, that's a rivalry game. He lost that game. That's the one where
Well,
this
no,
was
he
his
beat. I'm
last
talking
year.
the Heisman Trophy when they won that game.
Won which game?
UCLA. They were ranked 16th
Right. I'm talking about last year. All right.
last year. Okay, yeah.
You
Well,
know,
last year they lost a bunch of guys
yeah,
from
I'm just saying UCLA is not that good, but it's a rivalry game. I'm not saying I'm just trying to find games that has some significance to them. And
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not saying
looking. I'm looking. Yeah, I'm looking at the 2022 schedule now. Yeah, they beat Rice, Stanford, Fresno
yeah,
State, Oregon State, Arizona State,
no, they
Washington
weren't.
State.
They weren't good that year.
They lost to a 20th ranked Utah team at Utah.
Understandable.
They beat Arizona. They beat Cal. They beat Colorado, which that was the team that went 1-11
1-11.
that year. They beat UCLA. They beat Notre Dame, and then they lost to Utah in the
Yeah,
Pac-12 championship
no
game.
big games. If you go back to
They play a
Oklahoma,
bowl.
And then they lost to Tulane 46-45 in
Bowl.
the Cotton Bowl.
But he didn't play that game, right?
yes,
No,
he
he
did.
did play.
Oh yeah,
He
he
threw
that
for
one.
462.
It was the year. It was the next year he didn't play.
Next
Yeah,
year,
he didn't play last year. Yeah. But in the Cotton Bowl, he threw for, did I say it, 462? Let me get the box score for that game. Caleb Williams, 37 of 52, 462, 5 touchdowns and a pick.
See, it's hard. It's hard to say you can't win the big one. It's like what else you got to
What else?
do?
What else does he need to do? Yeah.
And that's very fair. That's fair, and that's what I'm saying. I'm like, a person that does these things and still lose, that becomes implanted in your mind. Like, it's not that it's necessarily always his fault. Like I said with the Washington game, he should have won that game.
Yeah, he did. He did what
And
he needed to do in that fourth
he
quarter.
did what he had to do to win, and then you lose like that. That internally, like, like that internally, like, tells you, like,
What,
like, am I cursed or something? Like you start to think about those things. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
It's not that he's not doing what he's supposed to do to win these games.
All right. Well, that goes back to where what do they need in a coach to bring greatness out of this kid?
Yeah.
Coaches that are out there. Jay Glazer on the pregame show this morning. He brought up some names on the offensive side of the ball. Arthur Smith, OC in Pittsburgh right now, was of course the head coach in Atlanta 2 years ago. Ben Johnson, the OC in Detroit, who I'm not a big fan of.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not?
Number one, what Detroit has done, what Dan Campbell has done in Detroit is amazing.
Okay.
I'm a huge Dan Campbell fan, but I feel
Okay.
like one, the culture that he's built there is
Yeah.
his culture. I don't necessarily know that Ben Johnson has much to do with that culture. And then two, I think he has some Matt Nagy in him. All right.
Well, smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Case in point, that
That's
damn
most
Panay
OCs, by the
Sewell,
way.
that Panay Sewell play where he pitches it to the Sewell for a pass.
Hey, good coaching because Panay didn't throw the ball. So
Actually, you know what? He could have. He may
probably,
he possibly had somebody open in the end zone.
yeah.
But come on, man.
Hey, sometimes you
If
play
you
with your food.
if you up 40, okay, cool. But that was still a game when they did that. And the Bears would, to their credit, the Bears were all over it. And obviously,
The Matt Eberflus
is that a
coach,
sack? Was
Yeah,
that counted as a
was
sack?
gotta
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, that's why I don't like Ben Johnson. And he's done some, some interesting things like that in the past that I'm like, I don't know. We've
It's
seen that before.
creative, so you don't want a creative guy.
There's creative, and then there's just ridiculousness, and
I have some
that's
reservations about
ridiculous.
Ben as well, though.
Wow, guys are tough.
Bobby Slowick, OC in Houston.
Yeah, they're struggling.
Joe Brady, OC in Buffalo.
Yeah, it's okay.
Cliff
You gotta let go. He was
Kingsbury
the host.
in
The host of
Washington.
Carolina, let go.
Cliff
Kings
hell no.
Kingsbury, I don't know because we saw what as a head coach in Arizona.
And we see now. Granted, they turned up today. They did turn up today, but he has a history of where his offenses take a dive
Yep.
second half of seasons. Now, granted, they like I said, they turned up today. Let's see if it continues. But at the same time, what is it about him that and in this situation in Washington, maybe they'll be a little down and come back up because he's has one thing to worry about: the offense, not
Right.
the entire
The
program.
entire
So,
right.
so I'm not with him at all.
Liam
Sounds,
Cohen, OC in Tampa.
yeah, he helped Baker when Baker had that short stint in Los Angeles with the Rams too. And Baker and Caleb have similar understandings of offenses, so they both came from this
Yeah, both.
the Riley system,
Right.
Lincoln Riley system. They're both about the same size, so maybe the play calling can be something that's conducive to Caleb, possibly. I mean, I look at the offense as Tampa. I mean, Tampa there isn't anything that they're doing that makes me think like they can't score or compete. It's just sometimes the players don't come through. Schematically it looks like and they've been. I can't recall them just being blowout of games, but the OC can't. He doesn't throw interceptions. OC doesn't fumble. You know what I mean? He's putting you in places to succeed more times than not. That's pretty much what your job entails. So I'm not pissed, but does that mean he's head coaching material yet? I don't know. I don't know. I have an issue to some degree when you've only been an OC for a year or two. I don't like that. You bounce so quickly. Or you've only been at your position 1 or 2 years, like the guy at Canellis. He left he left Seattle, then for 1 year he's the OC with the Buccaneers last year. Now he's the head coach of the Panthers. Just like this meteoric, shoot all the way to the top. It's like, how good are you really?
Hey,
You know,
hey man, he made an unpopular decision that is actually working now.
which was starting
Bench
Bryce.
Bryce Young, and now Bryce is playing much better now since coming back into that lineup. Just saying. I'm just saying.
And they're winning a whole bunch of games, aren't they?
I mean, shit, they damn near almost got the same record as us. Shit, I mean, look, they 3-9 now. And they lost today in overtime.
Yeah,
By the way,
yeah.
Tampa
Sounds,
Bay.
sounds
I was
familiar.
so watching. I'm like, if they win this game, we're gonna have the same record. That's some shit.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't be coming up in our mind.
Yeah.
Deep,
I
let me
mean, look,
I'll go ahead. I'm sorry.
no,
Go
no,
ahead.
I'm done.
I was just gonna give the defensive coaches real quick.
Aaron Glenn.
Aaron Glenn, DC Detroit, Brian Flores, DC in Minnesota.
Barely not hiring him.
No shot.
No shot.
Hey, Caleb, yeah,
Hey,
no,
maybe it does the
no,
league a favor.
Caleb might not be his cup of tea. Mm-mm. Nope,
Well,
nope,
after the
nope,
Tua
nope,
stuff,
nope. Yeah, man. And we,
uh,
yeah, And I
Vance
like
Joseph,
Brian, but
DC in Denver. Now here's where it gets good. Bill Belichick,
No, it doesn't get good. That was a joke, right?
Pete Carroll.
I'm an ageist. No.
I have to. Mike Vrabel, I think should be a candidate,
that's a good one.
but I don't.
Because what quarterbacks developed underneath him so
I'm
well?
not. I'm just saying, he's a leader of men.
He's always had cast offs though.
Yeah, and then Robert Saleh from the Jets, who
and we see how they falling apart without Rob.
That defense can't do anything now.
But back to Thomas Brown, though.
God, he sounds like the best candidate right now. Jesus.
What if he does? You know, there were two questions here. What if he does? You know, go off and they go 4-1.
And they had success this year.
3-2, yeah.
Well, that's the only way, bro. If they go 4-1, it can't be 3-2. It's got to be 4-1 or 5-0 for me to want to keep. Because if he does do that, and I'll say this real quick, if he does do that, then you can maintain Eric Washington. You can maintain a lot of that infrastructure with the coach. Like a lot of the coaches they hired were really good hires, I thought. You know, as far as the position coaches and even a couple, the DC as well. So clearly,
yeah, Eric Washington is highly regarded around the league as a defensive coordinator.
And you can keep with the way you've been drafting or acquiring talent to fill certain positions, and it gives you a better indication of what you really need going forward, and you can listen to what these guys are saying your polls, or what do you need, you're not just getting it from one source, you're getting it from everybody, because you almost sort of kind of have to right now, if you keep everybody, if they go 4-1. But I think you'd have to go 4-1. It's really messed up, dude, because right now he could be like 2-1.
And then my question is, okay, so you've heard nothing but glowing, stuff from players, from coach in LA, McVay. Sean McVay has some really great stuff to say about Thomas Brown, because I guess Thomas Brown was an assistant head coach under him in LA, and he had some great stuff to say about him. So my question though is, why wasn't he considered as an OC before they hired Shane Waldron?
I mean, well,
he came from Carolina, and the lack of success they had there, and Waldron came from Seattle, and they kind of been there for a couple of years. So
and turned Geno around.
So just because of the stench that Carolina had, it wasn't about the actual
I think it makes
coaching prowess that Thomas Brown had.
I think I don't think you can poo-poo that, and I think because Bryce was rookie last year, just like Caleb was rookie this year, and you didn't do anything to really help Bryce look good last year. And I don't know how much of all that was on Thomas, but like you said, he's look, just like if you got good success attached to you, people want to be around you. You get that detached smell around you. People may not want to align themselves to give you a position where you're a major decision maker. So the fact that he got another job of significance to help with a young quarterback, that was probably a win for Thomas.
That's understandable.
Yeah, it's hard to say because I look at it. I can't get past the fact that he was in Carolina last year. I
It's
can't.
tough. Yeah.
I just can't. I mean, I get it. I see that Waldron didn't succeed here, and that's cool. And what we're learning that every situation for everyone is different. That's why Thomas Brown wasn't considered for OC last year. I mean, it's no way. If I put it this way, if the Bears hired Thomas Brown last year, the media, Chicago media would have lost it. Would have lost it if he was called to be the OC for Caleb Williams last year.
Yeah.
Right now, he's benefiting because he saw how not to do it from St. Waldron.
Yeah.
And so he's winning in the media because of that. He's winning to the fans because of that. I'm still not sold. I'm just not. That's just
It's a low
me.
bar. It's a low
Just
bar he
me,
has to
though.
jump over right now.
Yeah, I'm still not sold. And just think about what I was saying earlier. Why is it that we see the best of Caleb when we're down? So what can you do to get the best out of him earlier? Like GM said, it's the play calling changes when you no longer, it's hey, we got to go guns blazing. So what is it early on that got you handcuffed to where the offense doesn't look the same?
And to your point, it's not you're saying the offense. We keep saying Caleb. It's the offense. It's the running game. Why? The routes. We're still seeing our receivers struggle to get open. you know, the usage of some play. How'd you go with Komet under one of the games that Thomas Brown's been the OC. Komet didn't get a pass, or maybe one pass thrown to him or whatever. That happened too, right? I don't think that was just that's happened since the New England game. So yeah, I'm with you. I think he's still on the proving ground. That's why you got to go 4-1. If you talking about 2-3, 3-2, it's not good enough, man. There's more proven talent out there, and also too, you might need to really power wash all this stench away.
That's how I feel. I could care less if he went 5-0.
I feel like, but you know what though? The one thing that everyone within the organization can take from this right now is that they aren't that far away. All right.
You said that last year.
Yeah.
I mean, just being real.
Yeah, we were 7-10
Just being
last
real.
year, and now we're
Just
4.
being real. We said that last year.
Yeah.
We said it last year.
But this time, okay, we definitely know what some of the problem is. All right.
We do last year.
That just come out your mouth, but this time
we definitely know. We had an inkling that maybe maybe the coach isn't the guy. His defense is pretty good, but now we know. Okay,
look,
this has been a problem,
hey,
and the locker room has told you that now. We got the word about after this game. I guess Eberflus tried to wash it over, brush it aside, and Jalen Johnson said, "No, no, this is your fault, dude. This is on you."
And so
again, this is on you again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, and again, because the Washington game and the Green Bay game, and here we are again.
So, like I said, though, but
I've been around long enough. Last year, you cost us 3 games too.
Yeah.
You're not that far. You've lost by a Hail Mary. You've played the entire division now, everybody one time, and you lost by one play in all of those games.
This is real talk. Real talk. This is the Eberflus history. Year one, how many games did we win? Year one,
3.
We should have won at least. We should have won probably 6 or 7.
Right.
Year one. under Eberflus, right? Year 2, we won 7, and we should have won 10 at least.
Right.
And this year we won 4. That's insane. So far, I mean, the season
So
isn't
far,
over,
and you should have won. I'll if you take two of the last 3.
2 at least.
No,
Two at least.
No, the Washington game. Don't forget.
Right. I said, yeah, no, I said the Washington game.
I say Washington and
2 of the last.
Washington and
Yeah.
I
New
wouldn't necessarily
England,
say 2 of the last
19-3. You got your
I
ass
say
kicked.
Washington and Green Bay for sure.
Yeah.
I say Washington, Green Bay, and Detroit.
And
Detroit, I can't necessarily say it's a win.
Had them on their heels, man.
But we wasn't gonna score a touchdown right there. We'd have probably went to overtime.
Yeah,
we had Minnesota on their heels, because we did the same thing to Minnesota. And then what happened in overtime?
All right, so you're saying 6 and 5 then.
So 6. I say 6. Because those 2 games.
Yeah, I'll give you 2 of those.
The quarterback he couldn't do nothing else. The quarterback couldn't do anything else in those 2 games. But we should at least won 6. But going back to the coaches, and it's crazy because this season is making me understand the true importance of a leader of men. True importance. Eberflus has to be one of the weakest-minded defensive guys in NFL history.
Why I say defensive?
Because most defensive coaches, to me, have that mantra, have that about themselves that show that they're a leader of men. He looks like a pushover to me. He looks like it. And it comes back to Hard Knocks. And I keep bringing up Hard Knocks for everybody who claimed they love it. The team looked soft. Defensive-minded coaches, your team should never look soft. Belichick teams never look soft. Vrabel teams never look soft. Flores teams never look soft.
What about Tomlin's team? They look super
Tomlin's
soft.
teams never look soft. like our team looked like nice guys. Nice guys finish last, as we learning every year in the NFC North. Nice guys finish last. Dan Campbell, I don't know what he is. Is he a defensive coach? If he is a special team?
No, he's an old guy. He's an offensive guy. He's an offensive guy.
Oh, he is an offensive guy.
Yeah.
He's a tight end when he played.
Even more reason to be on their side when it comes to Ben Johnson.
I'm saying that entire
that might be his play.
I'm saying. Well,
no, I'm just talking. But I'm and I've been one saying we need to get off as a coach, and you all has honestly been the ones like, no, you don't necessarily need to have an offensive coach.
I've changed my attitude on that,
and now I'm changing my attitude on that. I think we need a true leader of men.
We need that has to be that has to be
offensive coaches just don't even look like that.
But you know what? That has to be a part of the makeup, whoever the next head coach is. He has to be a leader of men, but he also has to have some offensive prowess to develop his quarterback. We can't go this time around and not develop a guy. We've been waiting too long for that.
But
that is very important. And I'm saying, and I say that to say, you know, it has to be that leader of men trait, because you don't want a Mark Trestman coming in here again. Right.
I agree with that.
But Mark Trestman wasn't here to develop a quarterback either.
No, but he was here to make us an offensive football team.
That's true. But
he didn't necessarily, the quarterback he was given was already developed.
So where I'm getting at is Nagy. That's where I'm going. Nagy was here to develop a quarterback,
right? But
as well as be a leader of men.
But here's the deal, though, with Nagy didn't get his guy.
Nagy didn't want, right?
He didn't want Trubisky. All right, you're in a situation. You're in a better situation now because the consensus was that we have what's the word? A generational quarterback. That was consensus. So everybody should be on board that this is the guy.
Every time you say that, you get me sick in my stomach.
So those two things, the leader of men is important. It's very important, but it has to be a combination. And it needs to be an offensive guy because I don't want to get to a point. Let's say we do get a defensive guy and he brings over an offensive guy that's really good, and you get Caleb up to speed for 2 years and he's gone.
Then yes, your quarterback at that point is a veteran, and then you get someone, and this is where you bring your quarterback in, and you're trying to find and review and interview who your new coordinator is going to be. You find and make sure that marriage is going to work.
Name the quarterback, and I can name one right now, and that's it. Name the quarterback that has lost their offensive lead coach and is still performing at an extremely high level. An OC,
That's the OC.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can name one.
Or right now,
I can name two for sure off the top of my head. Two for sure.
Lamar Jackson.
But three.
Mine is Josh Allen in Buffalo.
Lamar Jackson.
Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts.
And Lamar Jackson. You don't have the same OC. This is like Lamar's fourth OC.
Jalen Hurts OC left after 1 year of him being great.
And what happened last year?
I mean, they lost in the playoffs. He had a down year, but they lost in the playoffs.
The whole team had a down year.
The whole defense was terrible.
Both
the defensive court, the DC was gone too. Let's not forget that. The defense.
I said both coordinators were gone. Your coordinators make a difference. How are you just going to gloss over Lamar Jackson? He had like 3 different at minimum 3 different coordinators. I think he's had 4, but he's had minimum 3.
And I mean,
well, Lamar Jackson is generational.
Hey, we.
But you said name somebody.
Hey,
we didn't even try hard.
You named goddamn Josh Allen.
I named Josh Allen. I gave Josh Allen.
We named 3 without trying hard.
I mean, can we not say Dak Prescott as well?
Yes.
And Nick Sirianni is an offensive guy.
Okay, so we're gonna go there. Okay, so it got to be the defensive coach
or special teams coach like Harbaugh.
All right, so two.
We just said Dak Prescott.
His coach is offensive guy.
Oh, they were all offensive.
Yeah.
The head coach is an offensive guy.
Tom Brady. He had like 5 different coordinators.
At them all jobs, they stunk. If you really like that, the quarterback makes you. Yeah. As we saw with those.
Brady proved that it was him, not the coordinators.
Him, not them, is the slogan.
Right.
I'll name another one. Baker Mayfield. He's having a good year.
Smith.
We don't want yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta unlock.
Look,
sometimes you just gotta unlock what's in them.
You named the premise, and we answered your question.
Right. Because sometimes you just got.
I don't know that you answered that question.
Well, let's
gave you 4 examples when I even tried hard.
But GM, you brought up Baker, and
you brought Baker Mayfield.
But no, that's a great one. Him and Geno Smith, Sam Darnold might be unlocked for the future to come. Like sometimes it just takes the right coordinator. But we don't want that though. Because they had to change scenery No. But they had to change scenery, but they got.
We don't need Caleb Williams to change scenery.
No, we don't. We're not saying that. We're
the
saying
he
needs to get with the right OC to unlock what's there, what's special about him, to be shown consistently. That way, when that OC is gone, what's special is it's out there now.
So, do you think you're
going to get Smith has not regressed because Shane Waldron left, has he?
Can you get that? Can you get that OC? Not as a head coach, though.
I wasn't done.
Go ahead.
Russell Wilson.
Stop it, man.
He had different OCs when he was at Seattle. What do you mean, stop it?
He developed 10 years ago.
A defensive head coach, and he's had different OCs. That was the whole point was, you're saying you got to have a head coach who's offensive coordinator because I don't want to have to try and find somebody after 2 years because then he's got to relearn a whole new offense. Or maybe he's learned enough and he's good enough because, like B just said, it's unlocked. So now he knows how to play the game. You get an OC that matches what he does. It's not that complicated. It happens all the fucking time. We just gave you like 6 different examples.
Yeah,
We get so
it's
caught up.
yeah.
I lose my fucking mind when I keep hearing all these motherfuckers out here saying, you got to have an offensive coach. You got to have a. No, you fucking don't. We literally just saw 2 rookie quarterbacks who have defensive coordinators and they're having success. Are their teams winning wildly? No, New England,
No.
no. But Drake May doesn't look bad at all. You can tell he's developing. Hell, if you saw the last part of how they did their last fucking 2-minute drive to try and get in position to kick a field goal, it was man. They did it all the way down to the last second. It was awesome. The guy missed a 68-yard field goal. Okay, hey, you know what? You had a long way to go, but it was the execution was there. And we saw Jaden Daniels been tearing it up most of the year. Had a bit of
And,
a lull, and then they came back up.
and Jaden Daniels is a perfect. His situation is perfect because everyone hated Cliff Kingsbury, hated him, hated him. It ain't like he unlocked something in Caleb Williams that people didn't see. Everybody knew Caleb was great at goddamn Oklahoma. He teamed up with Lincoln Riley at USC, then everybody became Cliff Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury wasn't shit in Arizona. Let's not ignore that.
I'm not saying Clinton Kingsbury's the guy.
I'm just saying like so Jaden Daniels is like sometimes what it just needs to be unlocked.
The point is, you can hire a defensive head coach. You want a leader of men that you keep saying, whatever. That's fine. Hey, it starts with getting guys on your staff who you effing lead because it starts from the top down. You get guys who you can disseminate and you can what's the word when you compartmentalize or you start you send out, you advocate, whatever the word is, that you start disseminating commands and stuff or whatever, you know what I'm saying. Help me out to fucking word. What I'm trying to say, I'm struggling. Delegate. You can delegate.
Yeah.
So you have somebody who you can delegate, and you delegate what you do, because your coach, if you're Campbell and you got Aaron Glenn and you got Ben Johnson, who nobody ever heard of before, for the most part, the general public, and then you delegate, and then you make the calls when you need to make the calls because you're the man and you're going to wear the mantle of this is a decision, this is what we did, those are my call. And how many times does Campbell say this one's on me or whatever, and everybody else is at ease? And that's never stopped him from being who he is. He's still going to take the chances and the risks, and the players love him for it because he's consistent, he's authentic, and he's not disingenuous at all.
He holds himself accountable.
And he holds himself accountable. So I don't care whether he was a freaking Mike Tomlin's ain't had a losing season. He's the defensive head coach. Harbaugh's been to a Super Bowl and he was a special teams coordinator. Same thing with Cowher, special teams coordinator. You know, you look at you mentioned Pete Carroll, defensive head coach. He said he coached a head coaching job in New England. Actually, I think he had a winning record, or he didn't have much of a losing record in New England. They let him go, goes to USC. I don't know, he only produced like what one of the more high offense. How many? 2 Heisman Trophy winners when he was there, Leinart and Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
And you go the 3 national championship games back to back. You won what, 2 of them? 2 out of 3 or whatever it was. And then you come to Seattle. You're one of the few coaches to win a national championship and a Super Bowl. And if you let your dumbass offensive coordinator call that goofy ass play, you probably would have had back-to-back Super Bowls. Anyway, defensive coordinator Bill Parcells, you talked about that. He drafted Phil Simms. Hell, tore Phil Simms a new asshole damn near every other week. He won with Jeff Hostetler. Need I say more?
Yeah, also had a great defense.
He won with Jeff Hostetler. I'm just saying. And he developed Phil Simms. And you look here at Belichick. That guy was on his way out the door and had a 6th-round draft pick who was a know-nothing as far as most of the world knew. And he turned out to be the greatest winning quarterback in the modern history. And none of his coaches did anything once they left. But you need a leader, someone who's decisive, someone who can scout not just players as talent, but also coaches who are talent, and get them to do what he wants them to do the way that he wants them to do it, in terms of everyone being in line and being on the same page. And I don't care who your coordinator is in terms of how long he's going to stay. Because any good coordinator at some point in time is going to leave. We said this before. Coordinators, good coordinators leave to become head coaches at some point in time, unless they're older and they've done it already and they're like, you know what, I'm good. I'd rather just be a coordinator. More times than not, good coordinators leave, especially offensive coordinators. And just because you're a head coach, or offensive coordinator who becomes a head coach, doesn't mean you're going to be successful. There's no guarantee. And your only job is not just to develop the quarterback, it's to win games because you're also the head coach. You're really doing two jobs.
And to be fair, a lot of these guys don't succeed when they
No,
go be head coaches.
because why be? They're the smartest motherfucking guy in the room.
A
They do
lot of
that
them do
bullshit.
not succeed. If you really look at it, let's look at even the coaches that are succeeding. Let's look at it. The coach in Minnesota,
Kevin O'Connell hasn't won
Kevin O'Connell, and Minnesota was actually respectable before they wasn't achieving to the level that the standard that they set as an organization. So they fired the coach and he came into a situation that was pretty decent.
Yeah. And they've won.
Wasn't like he came into a situation that was just drastic.
They've been to one playoff game.
Matt LaFleur went to a situation with Aaron fucking Rodgers.
Solid.
Come on now. Now, granted, I give Matt LaFleur a lot of credit. I do. Because Aaron Rodgers ain't looked right since.
5 years old. Man.
I mean, shit, he ain't look right before he got there either, though. Let's be fair. 2 of Aaron Rodgers' worst years were before he came. Now, granted, one of them years he was hurt, but neither here nor there. I hate Aaron Rodgers, so
I'm sensing that.
But who else?
Let's go down a list of coaches that are let's say
Andy. You start with Andy. You can start
in the playoff in the playoff hunt. All right. Kansas City, Andy Reid, offensive guy. Buffalo.
Defense.
He's a defensive coach.
Developed a quarterback, by the way, who's on a Hall of Fame track. I'm just
Pittsburgh.
MVP. Defense.
Coach.
Been to 2 Super Bowls.
I'm not proving my point here. Houston.
Defensive coach. Hold on, and develop arguably the best rookie quarterback that we've seen. Hold on now. Develop arguably the best rookie quarterback we've seen.
Keep this going.
This isn't going very well for me. LA Chargers offense.
Yeah.
Baltimore special
teams.
Denver offense.
And their defense is what carries them.
Let's go to the NFC.
Outside our division.
Detroit offense.
Green Bay offense.
Philadelphia offense.
So the whole NFC.
NFC. Seattle.
Not Tampa. Defense.
Seattle defense.
That's a former Ravens defensive coordinator from last year. And Tampa Bay's defense.
Minnesota.
We already said that. We have said the
our whole division.
Minnesota, Green Bay. Our whole division. Okay. Washington.
Defense. And Tampa Bay defense. And Atlanta. Atlanta defense.
Damn.
You don't need.
It might be more defense than offense.
It is. It is more defense. Even if you took out Harbaugh as a non-qualifier, it's like maybe 2 more defensive players on offense, and maybe 2 or 3 more. You don't need to have a great defense, or you don't need to have a great offensive coordinator to be your head coach in order to not just develop the quarterback or develop the whole offense, because it's not just the quarterback that needs to be developed, it's the whole offense. And to win. You don't. And your defensive coordinators.
And what bothers me is everybody keeps saying that as if it ain't been one person to win. It's only been one that's winning.
Thank you.
Sean McVay won.
McVay, yeah.
Okay. But outside of Sean McVay, it's been Andy Reid and it was Bill Belichick. So you had a split Because Pat got 3, right?
Pat has 3. He's
Pat
been to
got
4.
3, and
We have 4.
and Brady won 3. So from in the last 10 years, from 2015 to 25, but last 10 years, 6 of the championships won came from Pat Mahomes and Tom Brady. Correct? No,
Yeah.
7 of them came from because Brady won 4 within that time frame because he won in Tampa.
He won in Tampa.
So
And beat McVay.
with an offensive coach.
So I was about to say that. So you would say 4, and then you add McVay 5, and then when Philly won with what's the name?
Doug Peterson.
The Peterson. He's the offensive guy, right? So 6. Right. Okay. 6 out of the 10. Offensive guy. With 3 of those coming from arguably the greatest coach of all time.
Right.
And 4 of those coming from the greatest player of all time.
Okay.
So we ain't giving goddamn what's the name that credit for that 4th Tom Brady Super Bowl. That's Tom Brady. A coach didn't even win that. He won it.
Well, he should have been the Bears coach at some point, but you know.
Yeah, and Peterson was fired, by the way.
We probably wouldn't be in this.
And about to get fired again.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, they definitely. Did they? By the way, is there a report on?
I saw something
Lawrence.
On Lawrence, yeah.
I saw something earlier. I missed it. Damn, I didn't read it though.
All right.
I did see something. That was
well.
So you don't need to have you don't need. Sure, if you can find one, I get it. So that way you don't have to worry about it. I understand it. But again, don't be afraid to coach. It's like Tyler would say.
I'm not gonna say I called it, but I did call it though that Eberflus would be gone after the Detroit game.
Yeah. You called it. I lost a bet.
Yeah,
I should have known, but you know what? You guys should have known that that was gonna happen because I bet somebody. Whenever I bet my karma,
man. Look though, what's crazy about that game. The way it started, it was looking like everybody like, "Ooh,
yeah,
this was about to be a massacre."
That was gonna be a.
And then the way we came back, everybody started shifting. Shit, Eberflus' job might be safe. And he said, "Hold my beer."
Oh man,
F this job. I'm gonna show you how to mess it up myself, because he has nobody to blame but himself. Nobody.
Crazy.
I can't help but think about the time Odds again told us that, you know what, when he was at Miami, he said, you know what, Alejandro, at some point, I just wanted them to fire me. I just felt like Eberflus. Eberflus was like, you know what, man, no, I'm gonna make you fire.
Hey man,
I'm gonna double down on something that nobody would ever double down. I have the worst winning percentage in the history of football, the modern football, in one game, 1-score games. He's like what 2 and I don't know what it is, 2 and 19 or something like that.
It's bad.
In 1-score, I think it was 5 and 19. I think in 1-score games.
Is it 5 and is it 5? He won that money.
Yeah,
that many
over the last 3 years. That's not good.
God. Yeah, I think it's like with a minimum of 20 games played. I think that's how that stat goes.
Not good. Not good. Hopefully, there's some snow in San Francisco next week. I don't think it's possible, but we can pray because San Francisco didn't look like they were prepared at all for the elements in Buffalo tonight. So that's where the Bears go next week. We'll see if they can get that bump.
Is Shanahan's job safe?
I think so. They've had a lot. They had a lot of injuries this year. Yeah,
which is always the case.
But they always have injuries.
For San Fran.
Well, yeah, you're coming off the Super Bowl. Don't you get that? You usually get that Super Bowl lull when you lose it.
That does happen.
Yeah.
And so, is there any coach now that's head coach that's coaching that is in danger of losing their job that you would want to be your head coach?
That's a good question.
Peters.
That you would want to be your head coach.
Hey, listen. Hey. I am not. I am a Doug Peterson fan.
Okay.
I don't think the
Trevor Lawrence.
quarterback he got is that good.
He has gotten the biggest. Herbert has gotten a pass too, but at least Herbert, the team is winning. But I don't know if they're winning because of Herbert though.
But
But the Jaguars, they
I
seem to
think
not just be winning. Not only not winning, I think sometimes they're losing because of Lawrence. To your point,
and I think and I think Doug Peterson is one coach that truly wears his emotions on his sleeve. I believe he can't do nothing about Trevor Lawrence. He can't. They paid the man. But
Mhm.
if he had the control, he would make a move. I mean, he did the shit in goddamn
In
Philadelphia. That's
Philadelphia,
when he
he
got
did.
fired.
He did do the move and won a Super Bowl because he did do the move.
Like he,
Well, he
like
had to do it then, but
he, but the next year,
yeah, he went back to Foles.
like I think he just in a situation where he know I just got to deal with what I got, and I
got
think he's not giving max effort.
I got one for you.
Brian
Brian
Daboll.
Daboll.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just thinking that too.
I don't like David.
I don't know.
I don't.
Dude, you think he's a
I
jerk or
mean,
something?
unless we think our quarterback is generation, and we don't think that.
He had Daniel Jones, and they got to a playoff and actually won a game on the road.
That was the biggest piece of shit ever. They
Still,
had Saquon Barkley,
I understand that,
and
and
he was a
you have
part of the team to tell them that he should if it let a video come out showing me that he was beating on the table for them to keep Saquon, then I'll say yeah. He's one of them that you talk about.
Ego got in the way.
Smartest man in the room. It's no way you let Saquon leave that team thinking you can make Daniel Jones into something. No, I do not want Brian Daboll. Don't.
They made that man write a letter. Thanks, Giants. They made him write a sad letter. They made Daniel Jones write a sad letter. That's horrible.
That's funny. Ah man. Hey, real quick, let's talk about this weekend in college football. that was just
insane.
outrageous.
Maybe
Outrageous.
Ryan Day
Rivalry week. Started off with Ohio State, Michigan. Michigan, wins the thriller. What was the final of that game? 13-10.
Flop. Scintillating display of offense.
How does that? I mean, I get it's a huge rivalry game. But you're the number 2 team in the country, man, at home.
Chip Kelly got to get fired. I mean, the whole Brian Day
Brian
and
Day.
Chip Kelly got to go. If you watched it, I watched that whole game. The play calling was
okay.
Awful.
What if let's say they get to the national championship game?
They did not.
Fire.
Okay. All right.
Wait, if they get to the national championship game, you're going to fire them?
Still
Why would
fire.
you do that?
Send them out on a high note.
His record
You are here to beat Michigan.
His record is 1-4 against Michigan. He is 47-1 against the rest of the Big Ten. That is insane. What was it? Last week he found out his winning percentage is like 88% or something like
crazy.
that.
Crazy.
He's the most miserable man I've ever seen with an 80+% winning percentage. That's insane.
But that's college though. That's college. That's like a man at Grambling dominating the SWAC and keep losing the Bayou Classic. You gotta go. You gotta go, man.
Cannot. One game.
Yes.
That's happened before, right?
That's what's wrong in Chicago.
Well,
we can't win nothing.
The Packers. Yeah, we're not even that lucky.
We can't win nothing. We ain't even got a better record past the Packers. We just lose to everybody.
All right. So I bring this game up. What's you guys' take on flag planting at the end of the game?
I'm with the home team.
Yeah, I am too.
I'm with the home team.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get away with it, I mean, look, I'm there. If I'm the visiting team, I'm like, yeah, do it.
Right.
Plan it. And I'm with the home, and but I'm on the home team, I'm like, try it and find out.
Yep.
Fuck around and find out. So I get it from both sides. And if you can get away, like I think Baker Mayfield's the first person I think I can remember, like he did that. I think I can't. It must have been against Texas, I guess, or whatever. But that was a neutral site because
The
they usually
neutral
play in the
site, yeah,
Cotton Bowl.
yeah.
And so I get it. It's like a fu badass moment, and it's like I own you when Roger said that to us. I get it, but if I'm the home team and if I'm the coach, you better not let them. I'm not telling you to beat their ass, but you better not let them plant their thought.
Mhm.
So so to me, if you want to try it, you asking for it. You don't want to, I'm on both sides of that one. I am.
Yeah.
I just am. I agree with. Yeah, if I'm the coach of the visiting team, I support my players, but I don't encourage them to plant the flag.
We saw James Franklin. Penn State won a game, I want to say at Michigan State,
Okay.
and the players went to go plant the Penn State flag. And before they could do it, James Franklin came out of nowhere and grabbed the flag and said, "No, we're not doing this,"
If I'm not
and
mistaken,
took off.
Yeah, he like I said, if I
That's
wasn't
see
that the
it,
game with? Wasn't that the game with? No, that wasn't it. That wasn't it.
it happened this year. I think it happened this year.
Okay, I remember
really,
it was a game. It was a matter of fact, it was Michigan State.
Okay.
And the Michigan guy was like digging his cleat into Michigan State.
Oh yeah, he was rubbing out the logo.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
I
oh
think it was
wow,
last. I think that was last season.
Mhm.
And he was kicking. Yeah, I do remember that.
that's
He
a
was
lot of work.
kicking up the logo.
Nah,
That's a
I
lot of
think that
work.
was the year before last. It was the year.
Year
It
before,
was the
yeah.
year they lost to Michigan State.
Okay.
They actually lost to Michigan State that year. But
But
yeah,
yeah, I don't think there's no you. The disrespect is just there.
but what? But is this the first year that so many road teams
Well, so
won?
many, yeah, because you
It's
had you
like,
had you had Ohio State, Michigan, you had Florida actually did plan it, and Florida State
that
came
was
out.
George Gums, Simeon. That planted that flag.
It's always them Chicago kids. By the way, Jason Avant, who is a Chicago guy, played at Michigan in the early 2000s. Went to Carver. Is their, I guess, their sideline reporter for the Michigan radio
Okay.
network. After the Ohio State player snatched the flag
Mhm.
off the pole and tried to take it, Jason Avant was on the field. He snatched it back.
Oh, that's who. That's who
That's
that
who
was.
that was Jason Avant, yeah, Chicago
Wow.
guy. He snatched it back to get the Michigan flag back. So shout out to Jason Avant, former Philadelphia Eagle too.
Michigan got a lot of Chicago guys
Yeah,
on their staff.
yeah,
Honestly,
yeah. But you had that game, North
North
Carolina
Carolina,
State.
NC State. Yeah.
Yeah. It was
Now
like it was like
it wasn't no flag planting in the Auburn Alabama game. They was
South,
just
but
fighting.
they just got
It
yeah.
was just
South
fighting.
Carolina and Clemson.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, South Carolina won at Clemson.
And then there was a
Wow.
flag plant?
Oh no! I thought
Oh,
you were just talking about road
no,
teams
we
winning.
I'm just talking I was talking about just the flag plant
Oh,
and then
my bad.
the extracurriculars after.
Gotcha.
It seemed like and we've obviously seen it before, but it was just like everybody wanted to do it this year.
Yeah, it was
It's just
animated this
the
year.
thing.
Yeah. So yeah, it was funny. But my thing, I thought about it because a couple weeks ago it was a few HBCUs that got into it. I think
Yep. Yep. I want to say,
the Howard North Carolina Central game. It was a fight after
and
that,
then I want to say it was Prairie View and
and
somebody.
Southern.
It was Prairie View and somebody. I can't remember
And
exactly,
then
but
there was a Division II game. I forget what the teams are. I'm sorry, but
yeah, you're
everybody was
right.
talking like, "Oh man, they need to do something about this." The
You're right.
HBCUs, but then the
PWI.
PWIs get into it as, "Oh wow, this is great for the game."
Ohio State, Michigan, it was still live on TV.
Yeah.
They doing the interview.
Yeah.
So didn't like that. But
It was wild because I showed once that happened. I'm like, man, that can't happen. I'm like, come on, man, this is. And then it just happened in the rest of the day. I'm like, damn,
yeah,
what's
yeah.
going on?
Like senior ditch day. Everybody decided to go ahead
What?
and go
Like,
But
crazy.
man, rivalry was on point though. You brought up the Clemson, Clemson South Carolina game, the Georgia Tech game. I don't know if you guys were up
Hey,
Friday night for that game. 8 overtimes,
that's insane.
and Georgia won it in the 8th overtime. But great game. By the way, I was like I said, I told you guys I was in Atlanta for the holiday. East Coast time sucks because that Georgia Tech game didn't end until like 11:45 Eastern. Very late. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Eastern time sucks. But no, good man. Great college football rivalry week. And
Tennessee ran the belt. Turned out to be a close game.
yeah.
They were up 17-7 at one point.
Bunch of close games. Championship games now. Let me actually pull up championship week here.
You've got Penn State and
Penn State, Oregon.
Oregon.
Next Saturday, you got Clemson, SMU in the ACC championship
Texas.
game. Texas, Georgia in the SEC. Man, everybody's gonna be waiting for this one. Big 12 championship. Iowa State and Arizona State.
That's crazy. Didn't see that coming at all. Did not see that coming at all. That's gonna mess up everything, man. Some
yeah.
teams like Auburn, like not Auburn, but Alabama, you probably you got screwed over because of those guys right there.
So wait, so with the Big 12 championship, the winner of that game gets a bye in the playoff, right?
Yeah, they're one of the 4 seeds. They
Wow.
might be. I don't know if they're going to be the 5th. You know what? I shouldn't say that. It all depends because Boise might end up being the 4th seed, and the 5th seed, which means they'd have to play what might be the Big 12 team. That's probably what's going to happen if Boise wins out.
Wow. Well, Boise plays UNLV, which, by the way, shout out to UNLV, man, because they've come from, 3 years ago, they were terrible.
Yeah.
And now they're 10-2, ranked 22nd in the country, and got a shot to spoil Boise's chances in the Mountain West. And then Tulane Army.
Tulane, I can see
in the American.
It's the Army though.
I really want to see Army Navy in the American.
Undefeated.
Yeah, in the American Championship game, and then have to play each other the next week.
Yeah.
in the Army Navy game. That would have been nuts.
I don't think any of those teams are going to the playoffs though. Between the winner of the Tulane Army one, I don't think that's going to happen.
You don't?
Not the playoffs. No, I don't think so. No, they're not going to make it. They have a nice bowl game, but they're not going to make it. You're not taking. I would take, and I hate Alabama, but I would take Alabama over one of those 2 teams.
Now here's the interesting part here. Okay, so SEC. Let's say if Georgia beats Texas, which this is their second. This is going to be their second meeting, right? Yeah. Georgia beats Texas again. Is Texas still in?
Oh, undoubtedly. Yeah.
Okay.
They only have 2 losses, and they lose in the championship game, and they lose to a team like Georgia. Yeah, no, they're in. And they still got some.
Would that push out in Alabama though?
Yes. Yeah, it would. I mean,
Alabama don't get in over those 2 teams.
What about a 2-loss Penn State team?
They get in.
They get in because their only 1 loss is to Ohio State. That was a close loss, and they actually had like Texas's schedule wasn't the strongest, but they did beat Michigan in Michigan, who beat Ohio State. They did beat Alabama, so I think Texas beat Alabama, right? Or did they play them?
Texas beat Alabama.
Yeah.
Wait, is that right? Wait.
No, I don't know.
No, they didn't play. They didn't play each other. I'm sorry.
Yeah, actually, Texas didn't have a strong. They beat A&M. I'm sorry, they beat A&M, who I think they just had 2 losses prior to. So they don't have the greatest record, but they were in the playoffs last year. And if they lose, it's probably not going to be a blowout if they lose to Georgia. They just have 2 losses. It'd be hard to look past them. Indiana has the 1 loss, so they're in, and they beat the crap out of Purdue just to prove a point. Tennessee has 2 losses. And it's to Arkansas, and they were all close losses to Arkansas and to Georgia. So actually, Georgia beating Texas helps strengthen Tennessee's loss, if that makes it make any sense. Notre Dame is in, even though they had that really bad loss in Northern Illinois. They're in. I mean, if Clemson wins, I would. I mean, South Carolina might have a better argument against Alabama getting in over Alabama than Alabama, even though Alabama beat South Carolina.
Right.
But they may have a better argument because of arguably who they've beaten and who they had to play. Or they get the same argument. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, dude. I think Alabama. They're on the precipice. Alabama, South Carolina, Ole Miss. Those like 3 of the teams that are first ones out. I mean, Colorado probably screwed themselves. I don't think they're going to be able to get in.
They don't have a chance. They shouldn't even be ranked above Illinois, honestly. Just being real.
So yeah, I'd say right now and like I said, the Iowa State, Arizona State winner is really screwing some of those SEC schools. I think Big Ten is going to have the most. They're going to have 4 teams in there.
So you say Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, and Indiana.
Indiana,
they're in. And then you're talking maybe the SEC with Texas, Georgia. I think both of those teams are in. Texas, regardless who wins or loses. Georgia is schematic to some degree, but Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, I think those are in.
Yes, that.
And then you're talking. I think Boise's going to win that one.
Yeah, Georgia. That Ole Miss loss hits hard. Yeah,
a little bit, but and then you got Notre Dame, so that's 8.
That's 9.
9. Okay, you're right. Boise 9, Georgia, Notre Dame. That's 9.
Clemson.
They got to win, I think, because Clemson's playing SMU. Yeah, I think the winner of the ACC of that one gets in, because Clemson losing to South Carolina hurt. If they beat South Carolina, I think even if they had lost the ACC, they would still be in. So I think Clemson, SMU, we'll just say the ACC winner.
Miami is out. We agree.
They got what, 2 losses now?
Yeah, they've lost 2 of the last 3.
And they're not in the championship. Yeah.
That's tough. They're on the precipice.
The Georgia Tech's 8 overtime game with Georgia, I think, may help Miami.
Because that's another team they lost to.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. I'm trying to think, who am I missing here? It's only one Big 12 team's going to get in, probably just the winner of the Big 12 championship.
Yeah.
So that's 10 then, right? So it's 2 more schools.
Tulane.
No.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah. Alabama probably will get in there. There might be like 11 or 12.
They've got. I'm looking at ESPN right now.
South Carolina might slide in there, beating Clemson.
1, 2,
especially if Clemson wins, that helps South Carolina's bid even more. At SMU, I don't know if SMU loses, do they still get in? I don't know.
They've got, according to ESPN, they've got SMU with a 69% chance of getting in right now.
What about Louisville? Louisville has 2 losses, right?
They don't have Louisville in the hunt here. So they somehow have Louisiana as the 2% shot.
Louisiana's in like
Like as
Raising
in the
Cane.
Raging Cajun, yeah.
Lafayette.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Which I don't understand how they have that, but yeah.
So 4 Big Ten teams, 3 SEC. That's 7, and then you're talking the Big 12 champion, the Mountain West champion, Notre Dame. That's 10. Yeah, I don't know who the other 2 schools are. It
So they've
uh,
got Notre Dame, Oregon, Texas, Penn State, Georgia, Indiana,
Indiana. Not so far.
Tennessee, and Ohio State as gimmies, though they're in,
Yeah,
no
I would
matter
agree
what.
with that because they don't have to play any more games, right?
Right.
Well,
Most of them.
most of them don't. The ones
Yeah.
that do, they're
Oregon has a game to play. Texas has a game to play. Penn State and Georgia, obviously, but Indiana, Tennessee, Ohio State are idle, so that helps their cause they're in.
right.
Should be interesting. Can't wait for championship week. Let's go to picks real quick. Glenn, your picks are incomplete as we record here on Sunday night.
Kind of like my college transcripts, real reminiscent of that.
Yeah, you had a lot of eyes. A lot of
It
eyes
better,
back then.
I needed more to get rid of some of those F's.
So you're 0-2 right now. You
Yeah,
took Ole Miss
give me an eye.
minus the 21 against Mississippi State. Mississippi State covered. So lost that
Rivalries.
one. And then you took the Bengals minus the 2.5 against who they play today?
Steelers.
Steelers, yeah. And they lost that one by 6. So 0-2 right now. You are 12, 13, and 1 as we speak. You took the Broncos plus the 3 they play Monday night. So we'll update that next week.
Go Broncos.
Definitely remind me of that.
Broncos, let's ride.
I went 2-1 this week. I won, took Illinois over Northwestern. They were 9-point favorites and they won by 10, so I'll take that. And the Bears covered for me up in Detroit. Of course, they lost their head coach, but
It's a win-win for you.
yeah, it's true.
Win-win.
Yes,
Us.
yes. And Auburn, I lost. They lost by 14 to Alabama, and they were 13.5-point underdogs. I lost by half a point. That sucks. So 2-1. I'm now 17, 11, and 2. And Smoke, you obviously you took those
17,
Bears.
11, and 2. Did
Yeah.
you say 17, 11, and 2?
That's true. Yes.
Yeah, it's just like it's all about you. Marsha.
Yeah, you way behind because he in second place.
Yeah. Smoke, you took those Bears.
Yes,
And you won today. The Chargers, 1.5-point favorites. Like who did they play today? I'm sorry.
Falcons.
I'm missing against the Falcons, right? Against Atlanta.
No, they didn't play against the Falcons. Kirk Cousins played against the Falcons with his 4 interceptions. The last one was god awful.
Yeah, 4 picks.
He had 4 picks, and all 4 of them were god awful. One was a pick 6.
That's Kirk Cousins for you.
You like that?
You lost the Dolphins with 3.5-point dogs to the Packers. Packers kicked their ass Thursday night.
Cold. And
they did not want to be there.
But Tua looked like he was throwing a rock, throwing a brick.
Hey man,
why was you came from Alabama playing in who plays when the Dolphins played in the cold?
Why was Mike McDaniel trying to be tough out there with a sweatshirt on, man? Put on a coat. Put on a coat.
He looks so cold. I'll watch that sit too.
You don't gotta be tough, man.
You too skinny to be wearing that.
Go put on a parka. It's okay.
You gotta be a chubby guy to wear that kind of stuff. You got some insulation.
I know it was cold in Green Bay.
You look so cold.
Don't have to be tough. So Smoke, you're in first place, man. You're 19, 10, and 2, man.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. I got you guys right where I want you.
Kicking ass. So Glenn, you're up first, man. Who you got this week?
Man, this is where everything turns. So the worm turns. I'm not talking Dennis. I'm going to jinx you guys because I know you're going to take them. So at this point, I got to work defensively. I got to pick who you're going to pick and just jack it all up. So I'm taking the Bears plus plus 6.5 on the road against the 49ers. I'm going to stay out west, and I'm going to take the Bills -4 against the LA Rams. And I'm going to take the I had it, now I lost it. It's a tough one. I don't know if I want to take that one. It's too tough. Let me go and take the Dolphins -6.5 against the Jets.
All righty. So you got the Bears, Bills, and Dolphins. All right. Championship week. I gotta take a college team. So I'm gonna take the Ducks, Oregon. They are -3.5 against Penn State.
Penn State might surprise, man. They may actually win that game.
I am going to take the Packers Thursday night.
I thought about that.
They're +4.5 against Detroit. So I'm gonna take the Packers. And let's see.
Kirk Cousins Bowl. Return to Minnesota.
I'm going with Buffalo -4 out in LA against the Rams. Buffalo. All right. Smoke, who you got?
I'm going Detroit -4.5 versus Green Bay. Just think a lot of people are prisoner of the moment. Not necessarily you is, just seeing a lot on TV. Prisoner of the moment. As if the Bears shouldn't have beat Green Bay. I mean, let's just be real here. Like, I'm just being like, people like, man, like, they kind of struggled. Well, they always struggle on Thanksgiving. That's, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
The Bears match up too.
So I got that one. I am going to take New Orleans -3.5 versus the Giants. Nope, no, I ain't there in New York. No. Take that off.
Ooh, that was a bad game, by the way. Dallas and New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bad game.
Damn, they play again already?
That's when you ate your turkey food. So yeah, I don't need to pay attention to this.
Yeah, it really that was background noise.
Yeah, background noise. You enjoy time with the family. You're drinking and laughing. Nobody cares.
Chance here. Take Cleveland +6 versus Pittsburgh.
I thought about that because it's a division rivalry. And Jameis might just be quirky enough to do some stuff.
That's your man.
That's my boy. And then I'm going to take Cincinnati +1.5 versus Dallas.
Screw the Bengals. They screwed me last week.
You said -1.5.
1.5.
Take that off. I'm gonna go Chargers +6.5 versus Kansas City.
Speaking of prisoner of the moment,
they always play the Kansas City Chiefs good. Always.
They play them tough.
And the Chiefs
They've been struggling.
ain't playing nobody good. They should have lost Sunday. Thursday. Friday. Black Friday.
Did y'all? I didn't watch the Black Friday game.
It was good down the stretch.
Yeah.
I really thought the Raiders. I was like, man, dude, come on, Raiders. I like sometimes like pulling for the underdog. It's not like the Chiefs are gonna.
They had the game won, and they showed the world what can happen if you try to get the extra yards. They should have just kicked.
Even was like, see, it's not just me.
Yeah. As he left Hallis Hall.
What?
Yeah.
One day too late, Eberflus.
Hey, you know what though? Flus is gonna get another job. He's gonna be an excellent defensive coordinator in this league, but just not a good head coach.
Be a good linebackers coach for somebody.
For the Windy City Dolphins youth football.
Man.
He definitely will get another job.
Yeah.
So some say he's already working with Alabama. That could be fake though.
No, they said that's the head coach's rehab program in Alabama. I also saw that he's the clock management coach for the Dallas Cowboys now. Man, the internet. Undefeated, man. Undefeated. Hey, that's going to do it for this week's edition of the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. We want to thank everyone for listening. We greatly appreciate it. You can catch our podcast on Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, wherever you find your favorite podcast. You can also catch us at hp53productions.com and our YouTube page, HP. Just search HP53 Productions and you'll find our show there. And you can see our beautiful mugs on there too, if you want to. Up to you though.
Then I got mine.
Oh no! I'm in our faces, but yes, I'm gonna. You know what? Hey, I'm writing it down right now. Get Smoke his mug. It's been 4 damn years. Yo, Glenn.
Yeah.
Please take us out.
Hey, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Hit subscribe.
Yes.
You can hit the subscribe button. But hey, it's like we always say here on Smoke. I'm sorry, Even Smoking Gym podcast. We ain't saying we're right. We just don't think we're right.
You can eliminate my name from it. It's fine.
I said easy.
That doesn't hurt my feelings. Not at all.
I had to put it right, you know.
He didn't double down on it like
We'll catch y'all next week.